Hello, 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 and welcome to Get It Off Your Chest, the funny side of breast cancer podcast. My name is Estelle Ma, and I'm your host today. I'm your only host today, because unfortunately, Twinkle Tits, also known as Andrea Moulding, she can't make this session today. She's got a few personal commitments, so I'm flying solo. I do have a guest coming on later. Her name is Sonia Zambakides. She has been a previous guest. Don't know if you remember, this was the girl who, how do you explain it? She was actually lying on a bed. Well, she had a few stories, but this one in particular I did like, where she was lying on a bed and she was having a wax and a meeting, a Zoom call happened while she was in the middle of having a wax. So she had the phone pretty close to her face, so nobody could see her legs akimbo and, and all the wax and all the busyness that was going on downstairs, should we say. Just before she comes on, I'll tell you any cancer news. Normally, this is the bit where I'm bouncing with our Andrea and we're taking the piss out of each other. But unfortunately, I haven't got it today. So I'm just going to give you some quick updates on my cancer news. So good news from me is today I went to see the Prevent Breast Cancer over in Manchester. They've got the Nightingale Centre out there. And they've asked me to become an ambassador for them, which I'm really, really chuffed about. So watch this space, because we're hopefully going to be raising some money, raising awareness, raising lots of things. Also this week, what else has been happening? Oh, last week I was actually in Woman's Own talking about this lovely podcast. So I was really chuffed about that. And I believe another magazine are interested in doing the story as well, but they're talking about maybe doing it about the killing of Tracy Titmuss, the book that I wrote. So we'll watch this space. I'll let you know how that goes and what edition I'll be in. What other cancer news have I got? Oh, I went to go and see my surgeon the other day, the lovely Ram. Everybody knows that I fancy him. And he was having a little look at, the chest area. And he said, I might qualify for a little freshen up, because basically one is pointing north and one is pointing south, because one tit's only 5 years old and the other one's nearly 53 years old. So yeah, I might be having a little freshen up just to even those babies out. I had all my photographs taken, you know how it goes. All the girls and boys out there who have gone through any breast cancer journey, where you stand there in your jeans, or you could be naked, I don't know, but you're standing there like Wonder Woman with your hands on your hips, looking like you're about to, fight to save the world. But in this case, you just haven't got a bra on. So that's all my cancer news this week. Quite a lot, actually. So, but just waiting now for Sonia to come in, and here she is now.
You're looking very glamorous.
Oh, am I?
Yes.
Hello, my darling.
I'm sitting here with my trousers half down because I've just been rubbing my HRT on my leg.
Of course you have.
It's like, fuck, this is not good timing.
Of the listeners out there, I've just had a flash of her sexy thighs. All greased up with cream.
A bit of hormones. Makes such a difference.
How are you, my darling?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
You're looking gorgeous, as per usual.
Oh, yes, but you look glamorous and gorgeous. I don't look glamorous. I did look glamorous yesterday because I did this filming thing yesterday, which was so much fun, and they did makeup.
Oh, what was that about? Tell us.
So it was a lovely woman who weirdly, so the same day, I'm so bad on Instagram and I'm so bad on social media, and I should be trying to get all these followers, and I'm useless, absolutely hopeless, totally inconsistent. And then one day, for the first time in months, I went through the stories on Instagram, and that's when I saw your message. And the same day, this other woman, Samantha Bale, had also put up a thing saying she's doing recording for breast cancer survivors, wants to do a pilot. And I was like, oh, cool, because she's awesome. So I was like, yeah, no, I'd love to do that. And we had a talk, and then I went out and did it yesterday and hung out with her and this other this woman, Louise, who ran the London Marathon topless. She's flat, post-breast cancer, and she was in the news and all that kind of, she's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I put a picture up because of the three of us, all topless, in ascending order of tattoos, actually. Yeah, Sam doesn't have very many, and Louise has some, and I obviously have,
and you're like a colouring book, aren't you?
Someone's done dot to dot.
So are you going to be on the telly?
I don't know. We're not sure. It's a pilot, and it's maybe going to go somewhere, and let's see. At least, I mean, hopefully not like the last time, which was a disaster. So hopefully this will be great if it goes ahead. But just to connect with them was brilliant. Just to get to know people. And I don't spend much time. In fact, that's the first time I've been around other women who are flat.
So you don't know if you're going to be on the telly?
No idea if it'll go somewhere or if it won't. But I mean, it was properly done. And in fact, I spoke to both of them because I think they'd be great for this show.
Oh, yeah. Last time you were on the show, we had to end it because basically we've been talking that long that, it's only a 25-minute show and we were on for a fortnight. But you said that.
I mean, it seemed reasonable to me. It's all about me. Surely.
It was reasonable to me.
I really need other guests. I don't get it.
It's the Sonia and Estelle show, for God's sake.
Exactly. And it was just you and me last time. So that's it. Sorry, Andrea.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not here.
Yeah, we ended it. And I don't know if we actually put it in the show, but we were talking about basically sex and no boobs, one boob, and what have you. And you did, hint at the fact that you had a few stories, but they were for another show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the late night show. Sonia's going to tell us all about her sex life, or lack of sex life, or her abundant sex life.
Excuse me.
I've just said, or abundant. We'll soon find out through your stories. Bear in mind, when we started the podcast, she had her knickers down. So...
Do you not start it every week like that? No. Well, I know when Sam was telling me about the filming, and I said, oh, there's going to be makeup and hair. And I said, oh, because I'm used to filming with no clothes on. It's like, so to me, that was normal. And then I said, I don't have an OnlyFans site. I'm too old for that, just to be clear. It's normally just sort of topless. I think I made it worse.
I'm dying to know if you're going to be on the telly.
No, I'll tell you. No, of course, I'll tell you.
Were you on
I was on the telly last year, on Naked Education.
But I was going to say Naked Attraction, and then I knew it was wrong. Naked Education.
I mean, wouldn't you love them to sort of do that? Do you know what I mean? For like breast cancer survivors. But it'll probably end up in a pity party, wouldn't it? You know?
I know.
Would you like to shag this poor woman?
Where they chop the screen, do you know what I mean? And they've got the first one, and she's got these massive melons, do you know what I mean? And the fella or the girl, whoever's watching it, do you know what I mean? Switching downstairs. And then the next thing, they drop the other screen, and it's just scars.
Look, I've so many scars.
Looks like a London Underground map. Does that do it for you?
And I'll take anything at this point. Do you know what I mean? If it's pity or sympathy, we're fine. We're good. Abject desperation.
It would be great to see their reaction.
It would.
Wouldn't it?
No, wouldn't it? No, it'd be brilliant. It'd be absolutely brilliant.
One. Just one. I think actually one tip would be worse than none.
Oh no! Oh my God! Yeah, and when I had one, it was quite big. So that would have been quite funny.
Yeah, I think not worse, but I think that would be more shocking.
It's more shocking. Yeah.
That's
I think we're seeing a lot more women, who have none. I think that's getting more. Thank goodness. I mean, it's wonderful, that we're seeing more of it. But I don't think we see much with uni boobers. But yes,
uni boobers. Did you call them?
Yes, I used to call myself a uni boober. Yeah.
Oh, well, I like that. Any uni boobers out there who want to go on to Naked Attraction, drop us a line so we don't miss the show. So come on, tell us about some of your stories with regard to...
Well, I think it was lots around sort of dating as somebody who's flat. So normally, at the moment, I'm in a relationship that's monogamous and have been for a while with a lovely, lovely guy. Who travels as much as I do, so it's fantastic, so totally gets kind of all of that. But this time last year, before we met, I think we met around August, I started sort of about 6 months before that going back dating again. And normally I'm polyamorous, so I date lots of different people, all ethically, all openly, we discuss that. And it's very clear. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to be starting this again as some, so polyamory, it can get quite misunderstood. And do you know what I mean? People can think lots of different things about it. So you've got that sort of factor when you start dating, and I, date through apps. And then you've got the sort of the whole thing of, well, actually, I'm older. I'm very delighted to be older, particularly given the alternative. But, there's that aspect that you're sort of bringing into it. I travel all the time. I'm not necessarily very available. And then you've got I've got no tits. So there's quite a lot to sort of get through. Do you know what I mean? Dating site, and I wasn't sure. And actually, I mean, on the non-funny side, it was amazing. I met the most incredible people, like really cool people. And I had this kind of cut and paste thing that I would put where I'd say, look, if we, I mean, not at the beginning, do you know what I mean? But if we connected and we started chatting and, there was something good there, I would say, look, just so you know, I'm a cancer survivor. I chose to not have any reconstruction, to have my breasts removed. Yeah. It's not a pity thing. This is an empowered choice. And I'm very, very happy with my body. And in fact, I love the way that I look. However, you don't have to. And that's completely okay. If this is not for you, absolutely fine. Just mean you're under no obligation. And mostly the responses were really positive. It was kind of like, oh, okay, and when somebody's sort of, messing or not. But there were one or two. I mean, there was one person who obviously didn't know how to say, this isn't for me. So was trying to sort of, have conversations. And I could tell from the way, just when we were talking, that it freaked the shit out of him. He's probably, God knows. I mean, he probably thought he was going to be shagging a man or something, and it's, there's a lot of that of sort of, which, I mean, excellent if you wanted to, but clearly he was, phobic about it. He went along and I went to meet him and I had a pair of my foobs in my bag, my fake boobs, which I...
Well, this is what you've gone to the first date. You've got your boobs in your bag and they're barely in. Come on.
And I mean, I don't use them at all. I never use boobs. I got them all when I had the mastectomy. I've never used them. I think I told a story the last time about, when I tried to use one, it went everywhere. Just it was up on my shoulder and down at my stomach. It was a disaster.
Didn't you go in the pool and it was
that was swimming next to me. It was me and nobody knew until I had to introduce them to my boob. Do you know what I mean? It was like, So I still had them. At this point, I think I've thrown them all out now, but I still had some of them. And I had the very brightly coloured knitted knockers ones, which are great, that these women make. So I knew, and it was uncomfortable. And I thought, I mean, come on, we're not kids here. Do you know what I mean? We're sort of, we're in our 40s and 50s. You want to really be able to get it together to kind of say, this is not for me. So halfway through, I just brought them out and I said, look, I've actually brought a pair. I said, it was so mean. It was so mean, but it was so good.
Is this before or after the main course?
I knew we weren't going to shag. The guy was like, no, absolutely not. He was totally freaked out. So this is why I did it. I was like, I mean, way before that, there was no way. It was like, and I said, look, if it makes you feel more comfortable, there are some boobs here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there will be boobs involved in our dynamic, if you like. That's absolutely fine.
You don't have to buy me a gin and tonic to feel me knockers.
I didn't. I shouldn't. Feel free. Such a way, in fact, do what you want with them. It's absolutely fine. Whatever your thing is, I'm good. You can take them away. Off you go. So that was the end of that one. And then there was, the classic, which I mean, it's a line and it's not even relevant, only just to dating. Funny, I was talking about it yesterday. This kind of, I might have said it before, but somebody sort of going, I'm really sad you've lost your boobs, and I'm like, they're not going to turn up.
Why are they sad?
They're not going to turn up under the fucking sofa, are they? Which is what I say. Like, I'm not expecting
you can stop being sad when I find them. Why are you sad?
It's bizarre, isn't it?
I hate that.
Oh, no, it's awful. But also the term lost. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, lost is careless. You know what I mean? Really? Yeah, no, I don't expect them when I'm hoovering. Do you know what I mean? Found my right one. Fantastic.
Yeah,
just the left one to go.
Little nipple sticking out the end of the Henry Hoover. Now.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Have you had people knock you back at the first stage where you've said that, over text?
So I've had people who've backed away, but then you never know with online dating. I mean, that happens whether you've got boobs or not. Do you know what I mean? Like people can disappear, and they kind of, nobody outright said, which one person, which I had so much respect for, did say, honestly, not for me. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. Yeah, no, totally. Totally fair enough. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, I put it out there for that exact reason.
Yeah.
I would far rather know, this is, because I'm not going to pretend, am I? Because it's funny, because some people are sort of saying to me, but, why are you telling them? Because I think they might notice.
Yeah,
I don't. It was really quite odd. Like, a few people sort of said, but, you don't need to tell them. But,
well, you do, because, when he goes in for the grope, then his ring might catch on me knitted knocker for stars. But he might be bumbling and fumbling in there looking for something that doesn't exist because I haven't worn anything.
No, precisely.
Yeah. Because let's face it, all men, they all head north, don't they?
Of course they do. I mean, it's the first, and it is quite funny because it's, in sort of, romantic, I mean, not really romantic, is it? But in those moments, for polite term, it does happen. I can feel, a hand sort of automatically, because obviously it's a lifetime, isn't it? But, for kind of going and then, and actually that area, I don't know about you, but that, I know you're not flat, but that area is really sensitive for me. So I don't know whether there's still breast tissue left, or I'm not sure, but it's super sensitive, particularly on the cancer side, not less so on the other side. But I do notice that you can see the sort of, and there's a couple of seconds of, I don't know what to do with my hand now. Do you know what I mean? I've just grabbed thin air. I don't want her to feel bad.
Just start waving at you, doing the YMCA. I need to do something with my hands. It feels a bit too soon to go south. Been in bed 10 minutes. Normally I spend 5 on the north. So what shall I do? Standing there rubbing his head and patting his tummy. Honest to God, I can just imagine they're just like, shit, I don't know what to do.
Exactly. And it's not, they don't mind the no boobs. It's just literally on the practical sort of level. Do you know what I mean? Kind of, this is what I always do. And now I can't. And I do like that, though. I like the shaking hands idea. Do you know what I mean? Instead, we'll just stop and shake hands. That gives me something to do with my hands.
Imagine shaking hands. It's doing it for you, baby. Oh, flicking out. That's amazing. So you've always told them, you've never give anybody a surprise, or at the beginning, did you ever not tell people? And no,
because I mean, it's just so obvious, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not something, it's just not something you can hide at all. I think some people, what I did notice, and that, there was one or two people, we wouldn't have clicked whether I had 5 tits. Do you know what I mean? It was very obvious we weren't going to click. But we'd be going out and we'd be chatting, and it was summertime and it was fun and it was all nice, but there was like this huge sort of level of discomfort about talking about it, because you don't talk, the way you don't talk about cancer, and you don't talk about so I would go on at length. I mean, I would describe my surgeries. I would talk in great detail about all of it. I was like, I mean, could you grow up? Could you absolutely grow up? And can we have a conversation? Because you knew before I came. Do you know what I mean? You knew this was the situation, and it's kind of, it's not there. So I would really, really, really hammer the point home.
Do you think that made people more comfortable?
No.
After by the time you finished, thinking, oh, okay, well, you're pretty cool about it, so let's chat about it. That never happened.
No, because what I found is they were cool from the beginning. Do you know what I mean? The get-go. Yeah. I mean, it's, and I mean, my partner now, I mean, it was never an intent to get involved in a serious relationship or, anything sort of committed, but we just clicked in that way. But I mean, I remember, I sort of said it to him and he didn't reply. And then I said, just, can you reply? Do you know what I mean? Is this a problem? And whatever. He said, but why would I reply? Because there's nothing to say. You're you. You're just you. That's what's important, not what body parts you do or don't have. And that really, I mean, he was quite exceptional. Do you know what I mean? In that sense. But generally speaking, I mean, a lot of a lot of, it's like I was dating 600. A lot of the people I was dating, all hundreds of them,
there's a word
so
for people
tired.
like you. I'm so tired. Do you remember when your nanny used to say about people who lying flat on the back all the time? You're lying flat on your front now, aren't you? You're so ambidextrous.
There is no end to my talents.
Come on, all these hundreds of men.
Well, I can't even remember what I was saying now. What about all the hundreds?
So come on, any other experiences? Have you ever had that look of shock?
I don't think so, because I would be really clear. Do you know what I mean? Before we met. Yeah. Because I wouldn't want that look. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be able to handle that. I mean, it's kind of, if it's, where do you go with that? I do, I'm trying to think sort of back. There was one actually who was one of the first people when I was just back into the sort of the whole rhythm of dating. And he yes, actually, I've forgotten about him. He had no idea what to do. So he thought he was really cool with it. I think he just thought he was really cool, full stop. And he's not. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, bless him. He really wasn't. And I think I'm, very obviously larger than life and out there. And do you know what I mean? Living life in all of these ways. And I think he loved that whole concept. And was sort of going, well, I think he was much more like, well, it's okay, she doesn't have boobs. I can make up for it. But he literally didn't know what to do. As in, physically didn't know what to do with me without boobs.
Bastard. Oh my God. Your whole sexual repertoire relies on
tits.
That's really sad, isn't it?
It really was, and it was, and I was like, I'm not helping you out, honey. You know
You're on your own, lads.
You figure your shit out. This is really not for me.
Yeah,
to sort
by the
out.
time I've finished with you won't think you're so cool anymore, will you?
Well, I don't think he did. I mean, it was one of those that sort of didn't necessarily end, but it's true, the whole thing. And I was like, I mean, you've got to figure this out. I don't know what to do here. Do you know what I mean? As in, I know exactly what to do, but you don't. And couldn't get his head around it at all, and couldn't physically. And it did show, this kind of whole, and it's the whole thing I sort of promote all the time about, boobs, and you don't have to be, you don't need boobs to be feminine, you don't need boobs to be sexual, you don't need boobs to be attractive, but it does show how much store people put on them.
Yeah. But can I ask? I mean, if you don't want to answer, it's fine. Because it is deeply personal. But that very first time,
we talked about shagging people's.
I know, that very first time you were about to shag somebody, were you scared?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
The very first time, the first couple of times, I told people.
Yeah.
I had my sort of my bit, which eventually became a cut and paste thing. But I had my bit. I felt physically sick. I was like, are they going to reject me?
Yeah.
On this, and it wasn't them, as in, I barely knew them. That wasn't the point. But was I going to be rejected as a woman?
Yeah. Because
of this. So though, twice I was like, ugh, and really, really felt it. But funnily enough, there was one person I was really, really nervous about, and it's because I really liked them. I really liked them, and I was like, oh, this one will hurt. If you can't handle this, it will hurt. He was absolutely fine, and it was not an issue in the slightest. And even because originally I was thinking maybe I should be dating sort of bisexual men who are much more comfortable with the male form, and I thought, no, hang on, I do. I'll date bisexual men. That's not an issue. But what I mean is, I don't necessarily need to target that. So,
and did you ever miss them the first couple of times? Feeling that you needed them at first. You know what I mean? I know,
I still do sometimes. I do sometimes. I do, absolutely, because like I say, I think I'm quite lucky in the sense of the sensation around that area. And you know what? I hadn't even twigged it. And it was one of, so I ended up with sort of 2 or 3 regular partners, that I was seeing for a while, before I met my current monogamous partner. And one of them, it was whatever he did, and I reacted. I mean, really sort of as if they were boobs. Do you know what I mean? On my chest.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, "Oh my God, had you realised that?" And I said, "No, never." Because I knew the area was sensitive, but I'd never realised it was a sexual sensitivity. So that was quite amazing. But then that's a bit weird because it's kind of, you sort of then miss your boobs more. Do you know what I mean?
Look, I was going to say, I wonder if that's like that itchy foot when you've had your leg amputated type thing. Do you know what I mean? When
Yeah,
you
that's
get that
true.
sensation of like something being there
Yes.
and you are feeling something. It's not quite the same because that what I'm talking about is like a ghostly
Like the
sensation.
phantom, yeah, the
Yeah.
phantom
But
limb thing.
no, I know I do. I kind of understand what you mean. I mean, I'm the other way, so I've got no sensation there whatsoever.
Have you
But I
got
think
reconstruction?
so. I've been reconstructed, and I think obviously that skin sparing there's no nerves in it as such. So good half of my chest and some in my shoulder, I can't feel at all.
Ah.
But yeah, my husband still like has a play around there, but yeah, it's not something that. I'm
So
particularly
there's like
getting any
no
fun
feeling
from.
at all.
Not really. No, no. Sometimes, fingers will go a certain way, like, it maybe it's under the rib cage. I can feel it around there. But yeah, no, there's nothing at all. I can feel it's weird. You can feel the implant moving inside your body, but I think that's against my breast wall where the nerves are, which is obviously where your
Ah,
nerves
yeah,
are. So I can
yeah.
kind of feel that, but the hand itself, no, you can't feel it. It's
That
bizarre.
must be really weird.
Yeah, it took, to be honest with you, it took, I would say, about 3 years for my brain to I don't know, it's not ignore it or accept it. I don't even know what it is, but I couldn't even lie on my front. That
Wow.
feeling of only feeling half the bed,
Yeah,
was yeah, it was
yeah.
really bizarre in my head. And my brain just couldn't cope with it.
Well, we don't do uneven.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
that's
If
it.
both of yours were like that,
Yeah,
you probably would have been fine.
yeah,
But we don't do
without a doubt.
uneven.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that must be really
yeah,
odd.
yeah, but it did, I remember talking to my surgeon about it and him saying, oh yeah, it'll only take a few months and you'll get used to it. But I would say it was about 3 years
Wow.
before I found myself one day. I was actually on holiday and I was lying on my front and I'd been lying on my front for a good, say, 15 minutes and then realized I hadn't been bothered by it, and then going to my husband and saying, look at me lying on my front and I'm okay about it, because I don't know, it used to, like I said, it was like my brain couldn't process it.
Yeah,
The way
yeah.
like I am with fizzy water, my brain can't process that. You know what I
You
mean?
pour it
It's
on
like
your chest, or it's just
sparkling.
general?
So yeah, the fact that you've got some sensation there well, would you class that as a bit of a blessing?
No, I
Wanna,
think so, because one of
yeah.
my things about, I mean, there was many reasons I didn't choose reconstruction. Some of them just physical and medical and whatever. Um, but was the fact of no sensation. I was going, but what am I going to do with like two things on my chest that I can't feel? I think I personally would have found that really difficult. I think,
Mm,
because it's kind of, yeah. I mean, that was my big thing. But it's what you're talking about. I was like, oh,
yeah,
I don't know if I can
I could
cope.
literally take a kick in the tit and would not feel it. So there you
Wow,
go. Oh, how fascinating.
I know.
Write in and let us know if you can feel your tits. Not.
You can tell us all about feeling your tits. What we don't want to know is about feeling other people's. That's where we draw the line. Those stories, less so. Thanks.
So the guy you
Internet.
now, he's all gorgeous, is he? And he's quite
He is.
accepting of it. Yeah.
It's not even quite. I mean, he's just. It's not a. I mean, it was quite funny because the first. I mean, he is gorgeous. He's absolutely gorgeous, actually. Really, really attractive. Which, like I say, I mean, it's the mind first, but it's very
Yeah.
nice to have both.
Yeah.
As well. But it was quite funny because the first time, our first date actually was in Amsterdam, which is where his base is. And I sort of arrived in, and first of all, I was a little bit worried that he was a serial killer. It's always a slight consideration.
Yeah. We all have that worry, darling.
I mean, you'd be going, well, go for my tit first because I won't feel it.
That's
it,
yeah. If you're going to stab me, can you stab me on my left side, please? That way I won't feel it. I'll still scream and say ow if it makes you feel better.
I'll sob. I'll beg you to stop. We're all good. In fact, you can even chop it off. We're fine.
That'd be what had happened to me, walking down the path, walking the dog. Some stupid bastard would probably stab me in the tit. And I just turn around and go, is that the best you've got?
Covered in blood.
Ow. So sorry, go on. You were saying you fell out.
Yeah, so no, I arrived and we'd met for lunch, and then this was like, let's meet for sort of a couple of days. I was like, okay, great, let's do it. And he was kind of going, how spontaneous are you? And I said, look, I said, I once flew from Kenya, where I was living, to Ireland for a date. I do spontaneous.
Oh God, how desperate were you for a shot?
Honestly, really desperate.
That's not against Irish people, by the way.
Oh no, I kept marrying them. I mean, that's fine, but I mean, I didn't marry this one. But I mean, it was, yes, no, totally. Yeah, that's how desperate I was. Wow. And continue to be. I mean, I don't hide my general desperation. And so, yes, no, so I arrived there and I was like, okay, cool. And I love that. I love travel and I love spontaneity and, all of that sort of stuff. But then on the wall, I think he's got probably 4 different paintings of women's breasts. I mean, not just their breasts attached to the women as well, not a free floating breast. But it was funny because it honestly, like, while I registered them, it didn't bother me. Do you know what I mean? In the sense, I didn't twig, okay, he's and it was only quite recently when he said it to me, he said something about the paintings. I said, oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. But it wasn't, because he's not. Do you know what I mean? It's so not, there's nothing, and you can feel from somebody.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, it's in 10 seconds, can't you? Do you know what I mean? If they're sort of like the guy where I brought the boots to.
You can tell if there's a connection, and it's not even like a physical connection. You just know. You just know.
Exactly. No, completely. And it's just not. And I was immense. But the funny thing is like, I'm more comfortable with no boobs than I was when I had boobs. I'm more comfortable in my body. And I think it's because you've got to accept your body. And I think whether it's reconstruction, whether it's whatever, it's changed so much that you've got to work really hard to accept it, haven't you?
I wonder if that's because it's very unlikely that whoever you've gone with has, had a similar body to you. They've experienced a similar body to yours. Because when with boobs, you sat there thinking, are my boobs big enough? Are they small enough? Are they perky enough? Are they close enough? Are they whatever? Do you know what I mean? And you start thinking about all, the ghost tits of that man's past and how your tits compared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wonder if there's a bit of that where you're just like, well, you've never had anything like this before, and this is the way it is, and it puts your head in a different space.
Completely different space. But I think that's a really good point, actually, because nobody.
Do you still worry about your arse?
I do still worry about my arse. Yeah, bit of a saggy
arse. Because you can compare your arse to other people.
Yeah, it's really true, actually, isn't it?
Yeah,
I had never thought of that.
It is. Oh, well, Sonia, it's been great talking to you again. You've just been an absolute dream. You always are.
It's lovely to talk to you as well.
You just bring all this lovely effervescent energy, which just absolutely
insanity, I think, is the word you're looking for.
Insanity. Well, that's me all over. That's why I probably love you. 2 crazies together. It's like one flew over the cuckoo's nest. Well, you look after yourself.
Lovely to see you again.
Well, bless you, my darling. It's great to see you.
So lovely to connect with you again. Take care. Bye. Bye.
Bye. So that was Sonia Zambakides. Wasn't she a fabulous guest? Loved her honesty, and I'm sure there are a fair few of our listeners out there who can relate to Sonia. I'm talking about her, her initial fears with, going to bed with her partners and what have you, and about her honesty, not about her jumping on a plane from Kenya, was it, to Ireland. I mean, Christ, my husband lived about 3 miles away from me and had to cross a river to come and date me. And he carried on like he was Freddie Laker, jet setting all over the place and would need to lie down to get over it. So so round of applause for our Sonia, who I think is actually our first repeat guest. So yeah, we're really pleased to have her back on the show. Well, it's that time of night where we're going to have to lock up Titty Towers. I think Hamilton Brown III has already left, so it's down to me to finish the show. If you want to contact us, you can contact us through Facebook and through Instagram. And if you want to come on as a guest, don't forget, you can write to us at stories@tittytowers.com. You don't need to come on the show if you don't want to. If you're feeling a bit shy, we can read out your story for you. And if you want to change your name, that's perfectly fine as well. We just want to hear all those funny stories. But until next time, until the next show, when hopefully Twinkle Tits Andrea will be back with me. Stay healthy, everybody. Bye.